best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam.
All right. I think this should be working. Maybe. I don't know. I tell you what, this backup server thing is pissing me off. Hold on 1 second, guys, because this isn't showing me if I'm live, which it's supposed to do. It's really starting to get on my nerves. Let's see here. Alright, so it looks like it is. Type in the chat if you guys can hear me just real quick. Let me know. Alright, so sound is good. Sorry, I gotta keep the AC on. I'm still trying to cool down from the walk. But I think I'm still in North Carolina on my way home from where I was going. And I just realized my GPS is not on. So I think my feed should stay pretty good. Hopefully my audio is alright. And hopefully the picture is pretty good. I think the feed will stay live with the new technology that we're using. You know, we didn't cheap it out. But how about that rally today in Charlotte? I don't know how... Wow, that was bumpy. I don't know how many people watched that, but it was pretty fun. It was a big rally. I hate walking. if any of you guys couldn't tell that by the live feed, I'm not a huge fan of walking. As I always say to my wife when she wants to go walk around, I say it's just pointless and boring, and I just simply do not like it. But, yeah, always have to walk around all the time. Especially for work. But yeah. It was good. It was a nice protest. You know, it was peaceful. The police were, awesome. They blocked the roads, allowing the protest to peacefully march down the street. And that's kind of what I've been talking about for weeks now, is protesting like that needs to happen. You know, across America, people need to do that. They need to protest. Because if we don't, we're just kind of giving in. We're basically saying, hey, you know what? Whatever. You know, just do what you want. We are sheep. And at least that group of people that were there today and yesterday in Los Angeles, even though in Los Angeles yesterday at a mask mandate rally, Antifa showed up and stabbed one of the patriots in the stomach. That video is on social media. You can clearly see him stab the guy in the stomach. I mean, we can't be afraid to stand up for what we believe in. And it's not even about what we believe in. It's about basic common sense. You know, the decision, the right to make up your own mind about what you want to do. And that's what that group of people were doing today. Is they were exercising their First Amendment rights to be honest, it's kind of weird, because they're exercising their First Amendment rights to remind people that they have the constitutional right to make the determination of what they do in their life. Isn't that weird that we have to protest for that in America now? You would think that's something from like a foreign country. But no, that's the new America, where we have to protest because, well, I don't know why. I don't even think we should. I think it should just be common sense. You know? It's insane. The video from yesterday that has a stabbing, I don't know if it was a girl. The guy, maybe it was a girl, just a tall person. But it's all over Twitter. If you go to Andy No's page, you can see it. They even slow motion it down, where you can see the knife, you can see the guy who's bleeding. It's a graphic video. But, I mean, and all they were doing is they were just expressing their First Amendment rights, saying, hey, we don't want to have to do this. That's it. about masks and all that. That's it, or not even masks, about just mandates. Because California is on the verge of locking down. Today's protest was mostly healthcare providers that just are not. They don't want it. I mean, it seems like it's such a weird thing to even have to argue about, that people don't want it and therefore they shouldn't be forced to get it. But yet, in America, it's now everything's up. We get to argue about everything, no matter what. Doesn't matter. We just argue, and then the next time it'll be something else. That in a couple of months it'll be lockdowns, or individual states, like Democratic-controlled states, are going to further these passports and these vaccine passports that New York City, New Orleans, San Francisco, and I think one other city, I don't remember which one, but that they've instituted, requiring you to prove that you've had at least one shot to go to a gym, or to go to a restaurant and eat out, or to go do anything. You just basically, to go indoors in any of those cities that I just mentioned now, you need to be vaccinated, which is insane. It's insane. And you know what's funny is, because I like to, when I'm driving, I like to listen to the news. So I like to listen to CNN, I like to listen to Fox News, and then I compare their perceptions on stories. So I'll listen to CNN for like 20 minutes, and then I'll switch it over to Fox News for like 20 minutes. And more often than not, they're talking about the same stories. They're just talking about it in a different perspective. Now, CNN this morning, they were all talking about Afghanistan and what a horrible failure, it's turning out to be now. And the funny thing is, Fox News is talking about how it's Joe Biden's fault. Basically, it's a bad representation. America looks weak. Actually, we don't even look weak. We look laughable, as a country right now, for the way that we're pulling out. Now we're sending in 5,000 troops, up from 3,000. Now we're sending 5,000. That's a new update for today. And to be honest, it doesn't even matter, because this morning, Taliban was closing in on Kabul, and as of this afternoon, they're already in Kabul. The Taliban they've already taken that. It's now, the country, or the military that's in power now is the Taliban in that country. And do I have any other solutions on what we should have done? Absolutely not. I mean, a phased withdrawal, which is what Trump had planned. To be honest, that's what I think everybody thought was going to happen up until a week ago. I don't know if anybody actually knew we were going to be pulling out the way we did. And certainly not as fast. I mean, just, what was it, Friday, Thursday, I think, is when they announced that they were sending 3,000 troops. And then I guess at some point they decided that they're going to send another 2,000 troops, because they have to get out. There's video on Twitter as well showing everybody being loaded into the back of a C-13 or something like that. It's insane. It's insane. And hopefully we get all the Americans out. Hopefully we get all the people out that helped us. But, it's funny, because on Friday, or 2 days ago, didn't Joe Biden actually hold a press conference where he talked about the economy and how good the country is and how we're building back better and all that stuff? We're not. Our country's falling apart quicker than I ever thought it would. I thought we'd get like 3 years before, it really started getting rough. But we're not even in 6 months yet. And within 6 months, he's single-handedly destroyed our country. And I'll be honest, we're allowing him to do it. Everyone sits back and just says, what can we do? We can't stand up. We can't do this. We can't do that. People need to start standing up for themselves. And again, and I'm talking about just like today. Today is the best example of standing up for yourself. It's a group of people, during the actual, speeches, there was probably 300 people there. By the time they went marching, they probably had, 750, maybe 1,000 people. Maybe not, maybe 750 in total. Those are people that are standing up for themselves. In Raleigh, North Carolina, they went the other day and marched to the Capitol. In Charlotte 2 weeks ago, they had well over 1,500 people that marched around to the hospitals. And again, the premise isn't to chastise people that are, getting vaccinated. That's not what it is. It's only about drawing focus to the fact that people want to be able to make up their own mind. make up their own decision on what they do with their life. I think we've just forgotten it. I think everybody needs to go out and march, and everybody needs to go out and protest, and everybody needs to be peaceful about it, but still be strong and say, hey, we're going to stand up for what we believe in, one way or the other. I firmly believe that. Hopefully. Sorry about that. It's not letting me charge this this camera, so hopefully there's battery in this camera. I don't know how much battery's left in it. But man, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just that we just have some weird shit going on in our country. I just wait for people to wake up. You know? Someone said peaceful, that works so well. It does. I mean, look at today. Because here's the thing. Peaceful protests. I was listening to Fox News this morning, all right? And they're talking about the protests that have been taking place in Paris. And one of the commentators said something like, I never thought I would say this, but I got to give it to the Parisians, you know, for actually standing up for themselves week after week after week. I wish they would do that here. People don't do it. You don't need to be violent in order to get your way. Going out there, and the problem is that mainstream media doesn't show up. Today there's 750 people marching down the street. I don't know what that beep was. There's 750 people. because it doesn't allow me to do it through the USB. So like right now I'm live. Is it going to stay charged though? I have no idea. Alright, well, I'm live right now, so let me get off the phone.
Alright.
Alright guys, so my camera was dead and it wasn't allowing me to charge it on with my truck for some reason, even though it's a USB. So I've got to go into the battery pack. It may die again. I don't know. If it does die again, I'm just going to end my live stream. But, of course, it's not, I didn't lose the connection this time. It's just that I forgot to charge the smaller camera. Of course. Of course. But yeah, what was I talking about? Just talking about our country. Just how screwed we are. I hope eventually people wake up. You know, that's what I really hope. I hope that as, you know, America, that we wake up and we realize, like, no. just say no. Wasn't that something they used to teach kids, like, years ago, the DARE? Just say no. That's what people need to do now. Just be like, nah. Oh, you need to get this job or you need to get the jab to keep your job. Nah, I'm good. I'll go work somewhere else. No, you need to wear a mask to come into this restaurant. Nope, I'm good. I'll go shop somewhere else. You know what I mean? And literally do that. A lot of people won't. A lot of people complain about it, and a lot of people just won't take their business. And a lot of people can't. Okay, I know it's super easy for me to say. I make videos for a living. You know, we write the news. It's easy for me to say, you know, stand up for yourself. But a lot of people expect other people to stand up for them. Like, namely your elected officials and things like that. Excuse me. But the elected officials don't even want to. So it's kind of like a horrible catch-22 where we're just kind of sitting here as a country waiting for someone else to tell us what to do. I mean, I think it's time that everybody wakes up and starts making up their own mind, making up their own determination on what they want to do. and then defend that choice. You know, by just like today. I mean, I can't say enough about what it feels like to be around a group of people that are out there just exercising their First Amendment rights just to be able to be understood. That's it. It's not like they're championing something that's controversial. I mean, this isn't even controversial. They're not arguing about the validity of vaccines. The only thing they're arguing is that they want to be able to make their own determination on whether or not they get it. It's like, it's such a simple concept. But we live in a tyrannical America now where one person is dictating what everyone else does. Can you imagine if they shut down the borders and said, in order to, you know, I just crossed North Carolina to Virginia. Can you imagine if they shut that down and required me to show proof of vaccination? They couldn't do it anyway. I'm essential as media. Well, they probably still could. They could probably require, you know, essential people, you know, journalists to get vaccinated. But it's weird. Can you imagine that though? Imagine if you cross, because the state of Florida actually did it for a long time. As soon as you crossed in, as soon as you get to that first way station there, you would have to go in and declare where you were and all that stuff. Imagine if you got to prove that you're vaccinated just to enter a state. You know, I heard Massachusetts is pretty stringent in the way they deal with the COVID for quarantines for people that come out of state. And look at Australia. Australia is completely locked down again. They were using helicopters a week ago to dispel people from being on the beach. Social distancing on the beach. They were using helicopters to rotor wash out the people that were on the beach. It's real. And it's not just here in the United States, but it's kind of interesting when you look at how some of these other countries and their citizens are you know, rebelling against it. Paris has been doing it for weeks because that's already in place. So Paris, they said 475,000 Parisians, French people, 475,000 took to the streets of Paris alone. And 700 plus people. And then there was probably rallies throughout the country today. But if you add all those rallies together and all the people that are there, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But then again, mainstream media won't focus on it. You're not going to see this rally that I covered today. You're not going to see that on Fox News. You're certainly not going to see that on CNN. Maybe they will because, the Proud Boys were there and they had a presence today. But instead of, documenting, what the Proud Boys did, which was, be extremely cordial, professional, and go around and give water to people, including police officers. It's pretty crazy for a group that everyone perceives as white supremacists and Nazis because what CNN says all the time. It's pretty weird to see them going up to everybody and just giving out water and talking to them and being nice and cordial. It's very odd, right? I mean, we already know that if you watch this show. It's very weird, and how mainstream media spins everything. I wonder what they'll do. I wonder if there'll be anything that happens. I wonder if mainstream media, I saw local news, and then once they realized there was, some people there, another news station came out today. So they may cover it on a local level. I saw that with the one guy that covered some of the speeches and zoomed around, and then he drove to the end and captured some footage and then left. And then the chubbier guy there, I don't know what he did. I think he captured some footage and then he left. I stayed and I marched with him because I think that's important. I think it's important to march, and it's what I believe in. I think people need to do it more. But I don't know, man. It's crazy. What's going on in this country is nuts. It's El Nutso. That's Spanish. Not really. I made it up. Someone said Biden is supposed to comment on maybe Wednesday. Yeah. Comment what? About Afghanistan? I mean, just by how it's lost so much ground today, Wednesday it's gonna be a Taliban country. And then we're just in the same place we were 20 years ago. A hotbed for terror. We'll lose our strategic point. But again, I have no idea what we should do with Afghanistan. I have no idea. I think we've been there way too long, but I think a conditional release. It's funny because that's what I was talking about before it cut out. I was talking about the differences in CNN's reporting and Fox News. So Fox News was talking about what's going on in Afghanistan, saying, a lot of people are appalled or at least embarrassed by the way Biden is representing America in the world, or to the world, based on how he's conducting himself with Afghanistan. Now, if you listen to CNN, though, no, this isn't Biden's fault at all. This is all Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump had a conditional drawback plan, which as soon as Biden took office, the Taliban broke those. Because one of the conditions of Donald Trump's pulling out troops, the withdrawal of the troops, was that the Taliban couldn't take control of any provisional capitals. That's written. And they did. And they've done it. And there's just no respect. The Taliban knows that apparently America's nowhere that, we don't need to fear it. Or other people don't need to fear America anymore. Which is sad, man. Because what happens? I mean, think about it. This has been the talking points all day. The Taliban just had a meeting with China, like 2 months ago. Taliban leaders went to China and met with Chinese officials. And now they're taking over their country, and America's sitting back and not doing anything. Again, not sure what we should do. Are we just giving Afghanistan to China? And then they're going to go in there and rob the country of all its raw materials and continue to, spy. And, one of the commentators on Fox News gave a pretty good analogy of where we are in terms of a country with China. He said, we're at war with China right now. That's what he said. He's like, we are in the beginning stages of war with China right now. And just nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to admit what's going on. And I don't know. The only thing I could do is I could just sit back and drive these highways and try to figure out, what's for dinner. Sad, man. I encourage everybody to get out, though. Get out and do, what I did today and what all the other people in Charlotte did today. Just march. Let people know. Let people know that you have a choice. Remind them. It's not even let people know. Remind them that the choice is yours. And it shouldn't be judged. For some reason, it's weird. You have people that are running for office that have literally threatened to shoot people that are unvaccinated. Like, I mean, what the heck is going on? I'm driving today, so I didn't get to, normally I look at all the mass shootings and the shootings in the city, so I don't know what the shooting reports are, but I'm guessing there's been, a bunch of overnight shootings, just like there usually is. But it's just weird. Our country is such a fragment of a country that even 3 years ago, think about where we were as a country 2 or 3 years ago. So different. And it's not just because of it's not just because of the Biden administration. I'm not going to even pretend that. It's because we have weak leadership. We have weak representation in Congress. We have weak representation in Senate. We have weak representation in the media, and we have weak representation in our administration. And nobody holds anybody to account. We could sit here all day and just talk about, we do this differently or we do this differently, but nobody holds anybody accountable. You know what I mean? CNN could print some fake headline, and it doesn't even matter. Nobody, even if they do a retraction, nobody cares. And we see this all the time with social media. Like when a fake tweet comes out, and the fake tweet, the shooting that took place in Ohio. Remember that one where the police officer was forced to kill that 15-year-old girl? All these tweets came out and said that the cops murdered an unarmed girl. Then it turns out, no, she was trying to stab someone. It was caught on body cam, and they had all that footage that they released. The actual, perceived crime or the perceived infraction, that garnished, millions of retweets. And when we finally found out what actually happened there, when they released the body cam footage, just hours later, it's barely any traction. That's the same thing with CNN articles and even Fox News articles. You can look at these articles and you can see exactly how many times they're shared. And if it's a negative thing, then it's shared a ton. If it's a positive thing or it corrects a negative thing that they said, it doesn't get any traction. Because that's what people feed off of, that clickbaitness. We don't do clickbait titles. Every now and then, if I want a story to go viral and I really think it's necessary to get a lot of views, I'll tell April when we write it. I'm like, use a clickbait title. But we have a policy where it doesn't matter what the story is. We don't do clickbait titles because it's just misleading. We want to present the news without trying to get you to, it's frustrating to me. Unless it's a news story that we think needs to get out there. It's just frustrating. We just live in such a weird world, weird time right now. Not much I could do or say about it. I was told earlier today that, even though I couldn't see it, that we had some big super chats. I really appreciate everyone that did the super chats. Again, if you want to contribute to everything we're doing here at Citizen Stringer, I would suggest you just go to citizenstringer.com/support and choose one of the ways there. But if you want to send super chats, you can do so. Your name should, as long as everything's working the way it's supposed to, your name should pop up on the bottom of the screen right now. If you do super chat, stars, or Twitch bits. But hopefully the picture is good. Hopefully the sound's good. Hopefully everything is good. I don't even know. Try not to check the chat or anything when I'm driving, because I don't want to. So does that, for anyone in the chat, I'll check real quick, does the picture in the live stream capabilities of me driving right now, is that better than when I was doing the driving before? Is it not laggy? Is it working perfect now? That's my real question. perfect. It's nice. See the big technology. Big technology. You know what? And that's, I said we were going to figure it out. That's what this backpack, thing does now. Super expensive, but you know what? It'll make it so we can go live. We'll pretty much go live anywhere, and it will work amazingly. So, I have it up in Virginia, so I'll cover events, and I'll cover protests, and I'll cover press conferences, and as much stuff as I possibly can within the time constraints that I do have. So on Tuesday, for everyone that does have a Citizen Stringer account, on Tuesday I'm going to release the second episode of Thought Villains. So that's a new show that's on our network. So if you haven't checked that out, go to ptnn.tv and sign up there, and then you'll see an episode called Thought Villains. And we got my show that's on there, Wake Up America, Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock. And then Freedom Flashpoint is going to be back tomorrow with Adam and Rhino. That'll be on at 9 o'clock. It'll air at 9 o'clock. I'm not sure if they're doing a live one tomorrow. And then we have 24-hour programming now. We've been running that for a couple of days, testing out some stuff. Yeah, probably not tomorrow, but Tuesday I'm going to be testing out some more stuff with that, so it'll be intermittent. But I'll be live tomorrow as well at 8 o'clock. I haven't been showing Jen Psaki's press conferences, well, because I don't care. And she hasn't been having them much. But, and frankly, we don't learn anything. It's just like, I almost feel bad for playing her press conferences. Because it's like misinformation. You know how Facebook bans you for misinformation? I almost feel like I'm misinforming you guys on what's actually, like, the truth by playing Jen Psaki's press conferences because, well, she's a lying asshole. Nothing she says is true. So I feel bad when I play it. Sad. Sad stuff right there. Go up 81. Normally what I want to do some of these times, and I may do it, you just may have to deal with my kids being in the car, but I think one of the times I want to just drive like West Virginia. And now that I have this backpack that works amazingly, now I can do the back roads, the Seeing America thing that I wanted to do, where I just take off and go explore the country and go to little diners and stuff. And I have the capabilities with the bigger camera. If there's just one more thing I need to buy to be able to do that, which is a couple $100, but then I could have this camera going, I could have another camera facing the back, so I could switch so you can see the roads behind. And then I have the big camera, and that's wireless, so I could take that and like go in and do interviews, or walk around in small towns or something like that, relatively close to the vehicle. Now we'll have that capability, so we're doing it well. Slowly but surely. I told all of you guys, just wait for it. We're doing big things, big things. We just signed the office space for the studio in Atlanta. That's where Adam and Scott will be doing their shows. So pretty excited about that. I've got 77 mystery boxes and member boxes to put together tomorrow. So most of you guys will be getting your shipping notifications tomorrow or Tuesday, because I finally got all the shirts last night. Finally. So we're doing big things. I just bought a heat press. I'm going to start pressing some of my own shirts to be able to get some of these out quicker. And I'm going to have a new shirt. Actually, I'll have 2 new shirts coming out this week. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they're going to be effing sick. And every one of you is going to buy one. And I know you will, because, well, they're going to be awesome. And they apply to virtually everybody. Because in all reality, if you don't buy one, then you're like, on the left. Kind of. But, not really. But, yeah, kind of. So, it's a really good design. So as soon as I get it put in there, those will be in there. But yeah, I'm just rambling on right now. I don't know. I told my wife I was only going to go live for a short time. did I see gasoline is $3.43? It's not $3.43 where I live. Anywhere. I don't know if I just passed it. That was probably diesel. I think diesel prices are up right now. I doubt gas is that high because I got gas, I don't know, 250 miles ago, and I think I paid $2.98. And then I got gas about 400 miles before that, and I think, well, this morning, and I think that was $2.90 and change. That was up by me though. But yeah, you may have seen diesel. Slim said I gotta pee. Ha! You know what's funny is only Adam knows this. Well, and my wife, but when I went to live stream today, all right. So I got there around 12:30, and I kind of sat in my truck for a little bit, trying to get the server to kick on. It didn't kick on, but I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden I had to go to the bathroom. See, yeah, gas here is $3.09. Jesus Christ, gas is high. $3. I wonder if it just went up. Usually it goes up on Wednesday. But I didn't see $3 gas on my way up here today. But anyway, when I stopped today in Charlotte for that rally, I worked a little bit in my truck, and then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I proceeded to drive around Charlotte, but I couldn't find anything, and I also didn't want to leave my truck with all the camera equipment in it because I don't trust anybody at all, ever. So, I'll be honest, I manned up, and I held that the entire time. You know, I really had to go to the bathroom, but I held it the entire time of the protest. So that way everybody could see the live stream and all that stuff. But that's also one of the reasons why I ended the live stream, because I could not wait anymore, and I had to go take a leak. So, much more information than you wanted to know, but it just shows the dedication, right, to being able to live stream. Speaking of taking a leak, that's what that guy is doing up on the left, it looked like. He's facing oncoming traffic as he takes a leak. Funny stuff. That Dodge Ram right there with the diesel, the Deezy, he just passed me, but I tell you what, I'm not going to say how fast I'm going, but I'll tell you he is going way faster than what I'm doing, and I'm speeding, kind of, maybe a little. Someone said, you're right, I scrolled back, it was 289, there you go. Oh, I forgot you guys can do that on YouTube, on the YouTuber. But yeah, speaking of YouTube, I think they said that I got like $100 super chat earlier. I really appreciate that. And again, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to turn on YouTube members. I thought about being like funny and like making like $1,000 membership on YouTube. But in all reality, I don't want YouTube to make any money off of it. So I prefer people that, if you want to contribute to our show and our channel and our network, one, just sign up for a membership, ptnn.tv. 2, buy anything from our store, puretruthclothing.com. Or 3, you can just visit citizenstringer.com/support. There's all the different ways, the Cash Apps, the Venmos, the PayPals, the credit card, all the other ways that you can contribute if you want to, or just watch this show. A lot of people don't think that's contributing, but it is. That's why we do this. Is for views. You know, the contributions keep us independent, so we don't have to go after these huge sponsorships all the time. But I just turned down another sponsorship. I had a meeting last week, turned it down, said nope, can't get on board with that. Because that's what we do. I'm not going to be bought and sold. You're not going to tell me how to do my show. I'm going to keep it real, even if it's to a fault. You know, that's what I always say. Keep it real. And then even, I forgot to turn off that button. Someone said, isn't YouTube taking 40% now? No, they're not. I don't know what percentage they're taking. But someone said, is he talking to himself? Yeah, I am, of course. what else do you do when you drive? You sing, right? I'm not going to sing for you guys, so instead I just talk. My random thoughts. And yet you may think it's weird, but there's still 430 people, at least here. I don't know if PTNN is live. I forgot to hit that button. But I hope PTNN is live, because then people would be pissed. I forgot to hit a button. We're trying to automate that process, but to be honest, all that stuff takes a lot of time. Because you have to code it. Someone said auto-tune, way overdue. What? I just did an auto-tune Border Crisis like a week ago. That was like a week ago. You guys could find that on TikTok. Also, one of the other things I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start streaming my show live to TikTok as well. Now, I don't suggest you watch the show on TikTok. The reason I want to do it is because I want to hit a different audience. There's a lot of millennials and shit that use TikTok, but unfortunately for me, a lot of them are liberals. But the goal of my show is not to appease conservatives, it's to get people to wake up. And so even if I have 1,500 liberals watching my show, if one of them, and I know liberals watch my show, I get emails all the time from them, but even if one of them turns around and says, you know what, this is messed up, or they see it from a different point of view because someone is talking about it rationally, then it's worth it. So, now that we have enough followers on TikTok, I'm going to probably start live streaming my show on TikTok tomorrow. And then I'll upload little, pieces of clips and stuff on there every now and then as well. I'm going to keep trying to do it. I mean, the goal is to build this brand and allow people to have a news outlet that they can learn, they can trust, Because here's the thing. I tell people all the time, you don't need to agree with me. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me all the time. The only thing I'm asking people to do is just listen. Just listen. You don't need to agree. You could hate. You could think that I'm an a-hole and that I'm a censorship dude or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. But as long as you're here every day and you're listening, then you know what? That matters to me. And that's why I do this every day. That's why I do it. Because I think it's important for me to, provide. Every now and then I get a really good email. They're usually kind of long, but I get an email from a liberal, someone on the left. And they're like, I'm someone that watches, I never comment, I just wanted to say, you said this thing today that really pissed me off, and I've been listening forever, and blah, blah, blah. And, while I don't really agree with you on a lot of things, I understand it, you helped me understand it, blah, 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 but you said this one thing that really pissed me off. And usually I try to reply. Usually I'm not a nice person, so usually it's like, well, I'm sorry, go watch CNN then, or something like that. I mean, how many of you guys have gotten an email from me where it says, maybe you should go watch CNN? Because I'm sure if people in the chat right now said, if you said, hey, have you emailed Steve to complain, and he replied, go watch CNN, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have done that. Because I try to reply to the emails, I don't reply to all of them, but usually I just say there's probably a better channel for you. It's called CNN. It's called anything other than my show, Someone else said, you need to start taking criticism. I'm like, no, I don't. I'll help you start your own show if you like. But I don't need to take criticism. You need to learn to shut up. Someone said, clearly I don't agree with you all of the time, but I trust you all of the time. Oh. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the stuff that, I'll be honest, I'm not even getting into it. Like, my decision was so reaffirmed yesterday. And if anybody that really follows my show and understands what I'm talking about, my decision that I made a couple of weeks ago was reaffirmed 100% yesterday, and I knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do. And I lost people for that, lost a couple hundred followers and all that, because people were just so quick to say, Steve censored people. Well, I look at things differently, And even if I'm not going to promote some things. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't promote certain things on my platform and give them a platform. You know? Just can't do it. But it seems like people are having fights over Nightbot or something in the chat. I don't know. Karen said, we love you just the way you are. We live you, she said. Live. I see what you did there. Live you. John said, you don't need to learn how to take criticism. You need to learn to shut up. Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I'll be honest, Johnny boy, I'll probably never do that, seeing how, the show is called Wake Up America, hosted by Steve Olney. You know, it would kind of be a really dull show if there was nothing happening, like no talk or anything, no words, no spoken word. Maybe, John, what I'll do is I'll make a song, or maybe I'll make a shirt, and I'll sell the shirt, and I'll donate the proceeds of the shirt to the Home for Johns, which is a place where all the... I'm not doing that. See, I was going to go out there. I was going to go on a limb and be like, all Johns are stupid, but I know we have some good Johns, so I'm not going to do that, because then I'll get hate mail later being like, my name is John, you said I'm stupid. I'll be like, no, it was only meant for the one John who said I need to shut up. But see, it's too weird. Like one day there was someone that had a really unique name, and I called him out on something because I read the chat, and then it was funny because someone else with the same name like 3 days later said, I just watched your video when you were talking about me, and I didn't even watch your video. I don't even know why you were saying those things. And I'm like, well, maybe clearly someone else has your weird ass name. Doesn't mean that I was directing it at you. It's just really odd. You have an odd name, and it's, so did someone else that pissed me off on the show. But I'm not, during the week now, I'm not reading social media chats anymore. So I'm only going to pay attention to chats on PTNN, and that's at the end. Because, well, we just have too many trolls on social media. And as much as I want to give social media the big old boot and kick it right up to the moon and never have to use it again, we still need it. We still need to get out. Someone said, I only repeated what he said because I thought it was funny. I didn't hear what he said. Don't, nobody pick on John. Only I can pick on John. I think John's name kind of looks familiar, so I think he's been in the chat before. I think he's feeling froggy. It's Sunday. Everyone's kind of feeling goofy. You know? We don't need to ban anyone today. Let's all be mellow. Everyone just relax, okay? Except Roger. If your name is Roger, you can go fuck yourself, okay? But not really. Because that one Roger doesn't watch it. Fuck you, Roger. Who remembers that one? That was a long time ago. Remember that one? Oh my god. I don't even know what he said, but I just went nuts. And then we were doing the F you, Roger, all night long while we're watching protests. Every single time something went nuts, we're like, F you, Roger. Oh my god, that was funny. Oh, the good old days of watching the riots. You know, but that's what brings us, I mean, think about it. I have 300 people watching me just drive. That's it. 400 people. Just watching me drive. Ranting, talking about nothing. I mean, it's it's either we have nothing else to do. Me, I'm coming back from the protest. But, either you guys have nothing else to do or I am your form of entertainment tonight. Because I'm not even talking about news or anything. I want to eat a corn dog. I literally have a corn dog that I bought like an hour ago before I did this live, and then it fell down into the cup holder, and I didn't see it, and it's all wrapped up, don't worry. But now I can't eat it, because I would feel weird eating a corn dog while making a live video, even though I'm not on video, but I still feel weird. It would just be wrong. So now I can't eat it, now it's going to be cold, and I'm going to be hungry. Oh my gosh, you guys want to hear something that's amazing? It's literally, I've made a mandate in my house, and I said we're only allowed to have one type of cereal in my house. You know what that type of cereal is? Now they make Fruit Loops and like Lucky Charms combined. So it's the Fruit Loops and then the marshmallows from Lucky Charms. Oh my god! If I'm not diabetic now, I'm gonna be, because that's so good. So good. My wife, literally, she went back to the store to get it today. Someone asked, any beginning lurkers lurking around? They're not going to tell you if they're lurking. Now someone else is saying just eat the corn dog. Don't tell me what to do, Bill. Why are you trying to tell me to eat a corn dog, bro? Weird. Keep your weird stuff to yourself, man. Someone said, oh, that's some good shit. Kate, who's running for school board in New Jersey. Shout out to you, Kate, on Facebook. But yeah, Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms, like marshmallow things from Lucky Charms. Woohoo! That's my shit. Someone said, where are we going? Well, I am driving back home. I was at a anti-mandate rally in Charlotte, North Carolina, so still have another 2 hours and 45 minutes before I get home. I've been driving. I don't know, what time did I end my live feed? Because I just walked the rest of the way to my truck, cooled down my truck because my truck was hot as hell, and then changed my shirt and jumped in and started driving. So I've pretty much been driving. I know it was 5 hours on the way down, 5.5 hours on the way down, and it's probably going to be 6 hours on the way up, because I always hit traffic or something, somewhere. Knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet, but there's usually something that happens on the way up. Some weird slowdown for no reason whatsoever. Honey bunches of oats. I used to like that, and then I actually chipped a tooth. Like what I do is I go on cereal kicks. So my teeth are pretty bad. Well, they're better now because they're all fake and veneers and crowns and root canals and all that stuff. But my teeth for a long time, they were bad. And I remember eating Honey Bunches of Oats, and like one of the like bunches of oats or whatever, they put too much like caramel or whatever in it, and I ended up chipping one of like my molars in the back, pretty bad. And then after that, I swore off that cereal. But I like to consider myself a cereal connoisseur, so I'm a big fan of cereals. But then I do something that you shouldn't do, where that's the only kind of cereal I'll eat for a long time. And so, like, remember Life, the cereal Life? Like, I went on a kick with that, and I'm like, give me Life all the time, and I don't like it anymore. Like Raisin Bran, that was another one. When if I try to like cut weight or anything like that for powerlifting, Raisin Bran is the cereal that I use to eat, and with just like skim milk or 2% milk or even lactate, because I may be a little bit lactose intolerant, especially around Christmas time with eggnog, because I love that shit and I drink it entirely too much. I drank a half gallon of eggnog in one sitting when I was like 25 years old. Amazing. I had to roll away though. I couldn't stand up. But I love eggnog too. But yeah, usually in the early spring, so like January, February, so it's still winter, I guess. But I cut out milk for like 2 months, and I start using like the lactates or something like that. It just kind of helps my digestive system because it's all effed up anyway. But yeah. More than you guys wanted to know. Like Sundays are just the relaxing day. That's where you like find out who I am as an individual. Like unbelievable. Don't steal my chocolates. So we've got a lot to do. Like I said, this week my priority tomorrow is to get all these mystery boxes out because they were technically supposed to go out today, but I couldn't do it today because I was covering the rally. So tomorrow we have all the tape, we have all the shirts, we have everything. The only thing I got to do is go get the gift cards, and then those mystery boxes will go out. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the September ones, because I want to kind of keep it cool. Like these ones are a little bit smaller, And I know I said it was going to be all new designs, so you're going to get 3 new designs that nobody else is going to be able to get because they're only going to be for the mystery box, the people that had already bought the mystery boxes. And then you're going to get some new stickers. But I'm basically going to take, because I have a bunch of the old shirts still, like, I don't know, 9 or 10 totes worth of those shirts. So I'm just going to fill the boxes with those shirts too. So you may get like a duplicate box that, or you may, if you bought a shirt previously, you may get it. And then I think my September mystery boxes are going to be 2 t-shirts and a sweatshirt, a hoodie. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be 3 t-shirts. And so obviously it'll be the same price, but you'll just get less stuff because the sweatshirts cost me more to make. But those will likely go on sale by the end of the week. And again, I think with the mystery boxes, I'm going to do designs that I'm not going to release out for everybody else. Because I kind of like it, and then if you send pictures and stuff, I see that like you're someone that really supports the show because you're buying the mystery box, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This isn't a fucking promo. But yeah, I just want to let everyone know those will be going out tomorrow. At some point, you'll get a shipping notification tomorrow. So you'll either get it tomorrow or you'll get it at like midnight on Tuesday morning, because depending on when I put the ship date for. Did I see someone's comment about Trump? No, I didn't see it. Wouldn't surprise me anyway, but if Trump called for Biden to step down, it's not going to do anything. Should he step down? Sure, but I mean, what's worse than Joe Biden presidency? A Kamala Harris presidency. That would be the worst thing. And who becomes vice president? If Joe Biden steps down and Kamala Harris becomes president, doesn't Nancy Pelosi become vice president? I don't know how that works. Because isn't Nancy Pelosi third in that line? Would she be? Right? I don't know. DJ said he got 30 t-shirts. Well, you're going to like the new ones, man. I know pretty much everyone I'm going to make it tomorrow. So everyone, you'll be able to pre-order the new t-shirt tomorrow, which will probably ship. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it print on demand or if I want to do them all myself, because I kind of like the idea of doing it myself. But whatever, there's going to be a new design that comes out tomorrow, and you're all going to want it because it's sick. It's sick. But see, the benefit of me being able to do it myself, because now with the heat press, granted, I don't even know how to use it yet, but I'm going to set it up in my basement now that we figured out how to make my basement not flood when it downpours outside. Apple Jacks is some good shit too, funny damn lady. I haven't had Apple Jacks in a long time. They also hurt the roof of my mouth, though, when I eat Apple Jacks. But they hurt the roof of my mouth for some reason. I'm not sure why, but they do. Very odd. We better slow down. It's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit here. It's my Christopher Walken, whatever impression. French drains, yes, that's what we have. So as long as we keep those clear, like the kid's chore list now is every 2 days he's got to sweep out the driveway, and we've realized why it's been clogging. Well, simply because he doesn't, I never showed him how to sweep, to use a push broom. So we spent a little bit doing some dad time of me sweeping out the driveway and him watching, and and then he figured out how to sweep the right way, and so now our garage doesn't overflow, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to be putting and our garage is air conditioned and heated as well. So it's weird because there's like no mold in it because it's got really good ventilation. So I'm going to put the heat press in there and then all the shirt stocks, and I want to long story short, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to teach myself how to do that because then I can fulfill orders quicker. The mystery boxes. Technically, I don't want to put them on sale. I screwed up on this one, and that's why I didn't get the shirts until last night, because I forgot to press order. Forgot to press buy, or whatever the thing was, for 3 days, until they actually called me, and they're like, when are you going to place this order? And I'm like, I did. And they're like, no, it's in your cart. And I'm like, shit. But Yeah, there's some cool stuff that are coming out. Cocoa Pebbles, man, I haven't had those in a long time. Those are some good shit, too. Grape Nuts? Ew. What the hell? All right, ban that person. Whoever said grape nuts and shredded wheat, get now. No, you're gone. No, I'm just kidding. Don't ban them. But grape nuts, shredded wheat, that's like shit my mom made me eat as punishment as a kid. Like when we were bad, she'd give us like shredded wheat. And not the kind that had the frosted. You know, there was like frosted shredded wheat. My son likes shredded wheat. He's a weirdo. But grape nuts, he likes those corn nut things too, which are gross. They're basically sugar. But I don't like those either. You know, the big, like, they almost look like kernels of corn, but they're not. I don't know what the hell they are. He likes those. I think they used to be called Pops, something like that. But I don't know. Shredded wheat. You nasty. You nasty. Rice Krispies I always like. I've always liked Rice Krispies. I like Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs are the Rice Krispies that are chocolate, right? I don't remember. But I mean, and here's the truth, because when I was growing up as a kid, we were dirt poor. So we didn't get any of that. We got like toasted oats and corn flakes, but I don't think they were called corn flakes. I don't know what they call them. But, you know, remember toasted oats and all that? So we have a rule in my house that, because we're not poor anymore, so we don't need store-brand food, because it tastes horrible. It really does. So we just don't buy store-brand. Even when we were poor, we still didn't buy store-brand stuff, or we didn't buy store-brand stuff, because it's just gross. It does not taste good. So ever since, you know, I've been old enough to go out and go grocery shopping myself, known to do it, or then got married and my wife does it, it's, you know, we go off that policy. We just don't buy the store brand stuff, even though it's cheaper, because it's not the same. Like toasted oats, like in Cheerios, oh my gosh, there's such a difference. Like Cheerios are good. They're good for your heart. Toasted oats aren't. They just make you fat. No, see, I made a rhyme there, but, you know, they're not good. I can't even think, and like, because sometimes my wife will buy, I don't think they're store brand, but it's like an off brand. She gets it from Aldi sometimes, where it's like an off brand of Fruit Loops. And I get pissed at her all the time. I'm like, don't do that, because they don't taste good. It's not the same. They're too hard, and they're, you know, because I'm super picky. And her thing is like, well, why don't you just go and do it yourself? And I'm like, no, you know, but. Which I probably should, and we did that for a while. I was doing the shopping, and what I would do is I'd go on Walmart and place the order and just go pick it up, and then she would get mad at me, because she's like, you got vegetables, and the vegetables are all rotten from Walmart. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You wanted me to do the shopping. I've got all my stuff. But, yeah. Not worth the calories, someone said. Sugar Pops. I don't remember that. Oh, Sugar Pops are now Corn Pops. Frosted Flakes are not. No. Frosted Flakes are still frosted. They are good. What is the Tiger? What's he say with the Frosted Flake commercials? They're great. Wow, I'm a dork. But I like Frosted Flakes. And sometimes, when I'm really feeling froggy, what I'll do is I'll take Corn Flakes, if we have them, because every now and then I go on a Corn Flake kick. So I'll take Corn Flakes, and then I'll just sprinkle a tiny bit of sugar on it, and then it's just like Frosted Flakes. Because who are we kidding? It's not really about the cereal, it's about the milk after the cereal. You know, no matter what the cereal is. So if it's Cocoa Puffs, it's because you get chocolate milk when you're done. If it's Fruit Loops, it's because you get like a fruity milk after you're done. It's like having one of the strawberry milks or something like that. You know? That's what it really is. I like Pop-Tarts too, but I don't really have Pop-Tarts anymore. Because, you know, we got store-brand Pop-Tarts once. My wife bought it, and I don't know, it tastes bad. They're great. That is Tony the Tiger. Yeah, Tony the Tiger. That's what it is. I'm telling you. Fruity Pebbles. Those are good, too. You know what I used to do? Speaking of a lot of sugar, I used to make toast. This is when I was single, by the way. But I used to make toast, and then I'd put butter on it, entirely too much butter, and then I'd sprinkle sugar on top of it and a little bit of cinnamon. Oh, that was good. And And then, I stopped being single, so that doesn't happen anymore. And then, see what I just did? I went from going 70 miles an hour to 55 because you give the police officers room. You move over no matter what. And I couldn't move right over because I had a truck next to me, so I braked to let him go by, and then I stopped. People have to do that. You have to do it, no matter what. I think I'm gonna make a new Wake Up America shirt this in the next couple of weeks too, because I'm gonna look at some of the designs. So here's the thing: if there is a shirt that you've been thinking about buying but you haven't bought yet because you've just been waiting to buy a shirt for some reason, I suggest you go to the store and buy it, because likely I'm going to be looking at all the analytics, and any shirt that hasn't sold a lot of, I'm going to retire that shirt. I'm going to take it off of the store because I want to kind of upgrade the brand a little bit in terms of that. So if you haven't bought a shirt that you've been wanting to buy on Pure Truth Apparel, what is it? Is it Pure Truth? No, it's puretruthclothing.com. puretruthclothing.com. April can throw the link in the chat. But someone said, what's going on with our troops in Afghanistan? I talked about it earlier. We don't really know much. The Biden administration is sending 5,000 troops. He upped the original 3,000 to 5,000. So now we're just kind of, we're waiting. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. Apparently Taliban is in Kabul now, even though they said it wasn't going to happen for a while. But now they're going to be in there. But unfortunately, hopefully everybody gets out. I mean, I saw them loading people into a C-13 or C-15, one of those big cargo planes earlier. I saw a video of that while I was waiting for the rally to start. And it didn't look like they were Americans. So I'm not sure if the Americans have already got out on military, planes or what. I don't know. I don't even know how many people they have to evacuate. They must have to evacuate a lot to send in 5,000 troops. Because they've called up 5,000 troops from the States to go stage in Kuwait. From what I understand is there's three fighting battalions, two Marine units, and then an Army unit that involves engineers and stuff like that. The two Marine units were already in theater. So they've added 5,000 more Army troops, I guess, from Fort Bragg. I think they said they were 82nd Airborne. They sent those guys over to Kuwait, where they were going to stage. So technically, I think they've been activated. Obviously, they've been activated. But then again, the press secretary, John Kirby, said on Thursday that he would not classify this as a combat mission. They're classifying it. They just said that, it's a strategic plan. They wouldn't classify it as a combat mission. So I don't know what that has to do with any of the, I'm not military, never been military, don't really know a lot about it. But I don't know if that has it, if his reservation of qualifying it a combat mission, if that has anything to do with the fact of any sort of benefits for these guys when they do get back, guys and gals. I have no idea. I sincerely hope that it's nothing bad. But who really knows, man? Who really knows? Man, can you imagine if we were able to get, like what I have right now in my truck, to be able to live stream this all out to you guys with such a good screen and all that, like with it all working with the overlays, and it's all working hopefully, and if you guys are sending the super chats or bits or anything, hopefully the overlays are working for you, because I set them up, so hopefully they work. But can you imagine if we had police departments using this same technology, live streaming out their calls every day, or other citizen stringers, chasing scanner calls, in cities throughout America? Woo-wee! Tell you what, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, this backpack costs entirely too much money to do that right now, but eventually it will. And so far, so good. I mean, I think the stream has been pretty good the whole time, right? Susan asked, anybody know an email for customer service? If you're talking about the store, send an email to store@ptnewsnetwork.com. That is the email for customer service for the store, clothing store. Patrick asked how everyone is doing today. Well, Patrick, let me tell you, everyone's doing pretty good. It's a good day to be an American. Until tomorrow. But for right now, you know, me, I'm in a high of just being surrounded by patriots today. So it feels good. It felt good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going to the rally in Charlotte where people were just protesting for the right to make their own determination on what to do with the vaccine. It's very, very cool. And I liked it. And Steve's going back to Appalachia. You know, everyone says like, oh, I live in the middle of the woods. I do live in the woods and I live in the country. But still, what, an hour and a half from D.C.? Maybe 3 hours from Philly? Maybe 5 hours from New York City? Maybe, 2 hours from Richmond, Virginia? And 2 hours from Baltimore. So I'm in that central hub where I can get anywhere pretty damn quick if anything actually happened that was warranted, you know, me to go out, which is one of the reasons why we went. But then again, it's kind of a catch-22 because I won't leave my kids at home by themselves because they're not old enough yet. So it's kind of like I can only go places after my wife is home or, you know, during the day as long as I'm going to be guaranteed to come back. That's why I'm hesitant to go into the city during the day because I pick my kids up from school, you know? So there's that. To get to Portland. Yeah, we'll be going. I better get rid of that mask mandate because otherwise I'm not going to Portland. I'm not putting on a mask to get on the damn airplane. Shit ain't happening. I'm hoping that I can drive over there. I gotta see for the time that we planned when the vacation is, because I'm not taking the kids, obviously, not to Portland. But I want to make sure that my wife can either go be with her family or something like that if I'm going to be gone. But I don't know. It's a plan. Still planning for November. But again, no one's going to know. We're not going to be like, oh, we're going to be in Portland at this date. No, that's not happening. What we'll do is we'll end up making a live feed, and then you'll be like, holy shit, Steve's actually in Portland. That's how you'll know. Because we're not going to tell people when we go there. That would be done. Someone said, Steve, did your son enjoy the day? Well, I'm sure he did, but he didn't come with me. So I made a decision yesterday not to bring him because he's young. And granted, I kind of regretted it the second I got there. But I saw what happened yesterday at the anti-mask rally in Los Angeles where, you know, they were fighting. And that, I mean, that doesn't bother me. You can see that. But, you know, the one patriot was stabbed yesterday in Los Angeles. And I can't imagine ever putting my son in a position that he would have to witness one of those, that kind of incident. You know, and I wasn't worried about me or my safety. I'm good. Or even his safety for that matter. You can't predict what other people are going to do. And I still think he's too young. You know, if he was to see something like that. I mean, granted, when I was pretty young, I saw some horrible shit. But I was older than him. You know, he's young. He's 10 years old. And he was a little bummed because he was all excited to be like, you know, my helper today. So he was kind of bummed, but you know, what can we do? I had to make a determination, and I just didn't know. So I didn't want to bring him and have something like what happened in Los Angeles yesterday. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want him to have to see that, mind you. You know, he already knows that, you know. Yes, I mean, he knows that I'm a maniac, so he knows he'd be safe, and that's what he was saying. He's like, "You'll be safe. I'll be safe with you. You know, you do what you do. You know, he knows, but I wasn't comfortable with it. I don't want to subject him to have to see anything at a young age. When he's older, I mean, if he sees it, he sees it. But he's a kid right now, so that was my decision. He was pretty bummed. You know, but I told him with the heat press, I'm just going to make him some cool shirts that he can wear to school, and cheered up. Someone said, yeah, you saw that stabbing. Yeah, that stabbing was rough, man. Someone said, can you come to Portland with me? No. I don't even know who that was. But, yeah, you'll know once we're there. Because I think Adam's going to probably try to come too. But again, it's going to be weird because you're not going to know that we're going to be there until we're there. Because, I'm not... Portland doesn't like me. So, I mean, as evidenced by the billboard I put up in the city of Portland that Antifa burned down. They literally burned a picture of me. So, I mean, they don't like me there much. So, when I do go, no one's really going to know. But you'll know once we're live because, obviously, you'll be able to see what a shithole that city is. But yeah, it'll be something else. It'll be something else. Someone said, "Love that billboard move you did." Yeah. I'll tell you a little secret. There's some more billboards going up all over the place. And if I almost here's a challenge. Okay, so the digital billboards. I'm not even going to tell you where or what state, but those digital billboards that flip the image? If any of you guys see one that says "Wake Up America," Citizen Stringer, or a big picture of my face or Adam's face or anything like that, I'll give you a free t-shirt if you take that picture of it. But I'm not going to tell you where they're going to be. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You really got to pay attention. But they're going to be all over the place. There's more billboards in the works. Why? Because I like it. And I think it's funny, and I want to show support. So pretty much it's going to be where, either people are being infringed upon, or police are getting a raw deal, or they're obviously Portland just sucking. But yeah, that's a contest. So if you see my billboards up, and it won't start until September. But if you see my billboards up, take a picture, and you'll get a free shirt. Challenge accepted. Do it on the side of 101 in Oakland. Would be hella funny. I should do a billboard that says, "F you, Roger." No. But I don't know why I do one in Oakland. Because here's the thing, the one I put up in Portland, yeah, was it trolling a little bit? Yeah, but that wasn't my intention. Everyone thought it was. They're like, oh, it's an epic troll. To me, it wasn't. It was one, I didn't really self-promote because we didn't, the only thing it said, I don't even remember what it said. It said, "Thank you," and then a big picture of my face. It said, "Thank you, Portland Police," or something like that. "Wake Up America viewers thank the Portland Police Bureau," or something like that. I don't remember what it said. But that's what it was, because it was meant to show support to those guys and gals that have been out there all the time. That was during the riots that were taking place last year. That's why I put up that billboard. I never thought that Antifa would burn it down. Did I think they'd vandalize it? Absolutely. That's why, local groups offered to watch it, during the nights for the first 4 or 5 nights. That's why it didn't get damaged, because there were people that were watching it, so everyone could take pictures and all that stuff. And a lot of people took pictures, and I got a lot of pictures. A lot of the boys and gals in blue took pictures in front of it too, but I can't ever post those. But it's cool, and then as soon as they burned it down, or when they vandalized it at first, I'm like, okay, well, we kind of knew that was happening. I called the billboard company and said, hey, because I actually bought extra billboard wraps because we knew it was going to get vandalized. So I actually bought extra ones. You have to buy 2, but I bought 4, I think, or 3, because I knew it was going to get vandalized, and I told them, and they're like, yeah, no problem. But they vandalized it, and then they spray paint or the paint balloons or something on the billboard in Portland, and then and it still didn't look bad. You could still see what its message was. You could still see my face, although they did, spray throw paint on my face, but whatever, it's still fine. And then a few days later, I don't think I went live that night. I think I took the night off, and then I got text messages around 4 a.m. and they're like, dude, your billboard is literally on fire right now. Your face, I see it melting. And so when I woke up and I saw it, and I'm like, holy cow. And then I had 3 or 4 days of everyone, because obviously everyone knew where it was after that, because everyone looked up Wake Up America and saw. And I immediately reached out and asked me if I wanted to come on the air and talk about why I put it. And I was like, no, I don't want to do anything. The message was what it was. And I felt bad, because I heard one report, or one, I forgot where it was. I think it was on social media, on Facebook or something. It was the people that live behind the PPA Association building that saw it on fire and that kept calling the police. And they're like, the police aren't coming, the fire department's not coming, because they were rioting. And they were worried that that fire was going to spread over to their place. So when the billboard company asked me to, whether I wanted to, they said they had to replace the whole backing, because the fire actually ruined that whole billboard thing, so they had to replace it all. They asked me if I wanted to put it back up, and I said no, because I felt bad. I never thought they'd burn it down. I mean, to be honest, I never thought they'd burn down the damn billboard. I thought they'd vandalize it, sure, but then again, I mean, I thought about it yesterday too, the billboard, and then I was thinking about it this morning. Like, nobody can say Antifa isn't like a real threat. I mean, we already know, because of the arson, we already know Jay Danielson being shot and killed by an Antifa member. But now, I mean, they're more whatever that word is. They're more out there with their violence. Like yesterday, stabbing someone in broad daylight. You know what I mean? They are terrorists. They are terrorists, and they should be treated the same way. The person who stabbed that patriot yesterday, they should be treated the same way we would treat a terrorist who stabbed an American. They should be hung or something. I don't know. They should be, face a trial, find them guilty, and ship them off somewhere. Put them in a jail cell for the rest of their life in solitary. I don't know. But for some reason, they won't. Nothing will happen. They'll plead out. They'll get like 2 months probation. And they'll just be back out on the streets to do it again. I mean, you had pedophiles out there yesterday with the Antifa groups. Known rapists that were out there protesting the Antifa terrorists. Like, it's unbelievable. Nobody cares. Nobody does anything. They know. This person was on probation for rape and got arrested, and they released him. And now he was out there yesterday. Like, he was out there yesterday protesting alongside all the Antifa scumbags. Like, it's unbelievable. But then again, what can you do? We can call it out. We can write about it. We can, bring attention to it in videos, and then we can just kind of sit back and be like, okay, we did our best. That's it. That's all I can do. That's it. But someone said, thinking about selling your house and buying a mini Winnebago and traveling? Yeah. Good luck. I mean, we bought an RV. We traveled around for a little bit. Not much, because we moved cross country, so I didn't really get to travel around with it. And then I decided on our last camping trip that I didn't like the trailer, that I want this, like that you see on your screen right here to the right. That's what I want. I can't afford one, because that thing right there is probably $200,000. I didn't see the brand, but they're extremely expensive. But that's what I want. So we ended up selling the RV, the travel trailer that we have, and then we just put that money in a savings, until we buy a motorhome next year, because we're not going to use it again. We don't have time for the summer. But my plan is next year we'll buy a motorhome, and then we'll go for the summer as originally planned. Because now we know we can work. I can work from there, So we'll see. That's the plan. Someone said, until we stop fighting over politics, Antifa will never go away. Oh no, Antifa will go away. Antifa will go away. Eventually people are going to show up. That's the truth of the matter. Antifa will go away the first time people actually, not the first time. They'll show up when people can or they'll stop showing up the second people actually start showing up and continue showing up. Yeah, they do show up. Yes, you know, patriots show up or masquerade as patriots and show up. Yeah, it happens. But they're not going to take too many more times of just getting pummeled, and it does happen, and that's the thing. I don't know why they can't meet in a big field and have like a, Gangs in New York or what's that movie, The Warriors that I was talking about the other day? Like, why can't they do that? Like in a big soccer field where the police allow everyone to go in there and you guys just go and beat the crap out of each other. No one dies. You don't allow sharp weapons. You just allow fists. And you just allow people to go to town. Now, they won't show up. We already know that. But that's what should happen. But eventually, you know what will end up happening? Is the Antifa terrorists will attack something or someone so big that it justifies the response. Because as of right now, they're only targeting Trump supporters and Christians and the unvaccinated, apparently. So we fit right into their agenda. But, I mean, can you imagine if Trump was still president right now, what he would be doing? Granted, and I don't know, I would like to think that he would go after Antifa pretty hard. Who actually knows? Dude, that trailer has been sitting there since this morning. I remember seeing him drive because I'm like, well, that's weird. He was with a convoy of two other trucks that had golf carts on it. He's been sitting there a long time. I think a day will come for Antifa, and they'll fade into obscurity. You know what I mean? But they'll end up causing some serious damage before that. I have no doubt in my mind. But they'll attack something. They'll attack some building. They'll kill someone, and then it'll just be the wrong person. And it'll be the right person because then mainstream media will pay attention. There'll be congressional hearings about it, and that's likely what's going to happen. Because until that happens, nobody's going to give a fuck. Nobody's going to care. The left, shit, nobody cares. The right only cares about Antifa because it's the way to take attention off everybody else. Because if the right truly cared about Antifa, they'd be out there all the time. Every single time. You'd have what you saw last week at the worship events, today what we saw in Charlotte, last week what you saw on Tuesday outside of that Planned Parenthood, where those are patriots that showed up. They weren't there to beat the shit out of people. They were showed up to make numbers, to show people that, hey, we're not dealing with this. And that's what they did. And it was an extremely presentable, approach to it. And I was talking to somebody today about that on the phone after I left. And I was like, it was amazing. And I love seeing that. Because it breaks that narrative. It breaks mainstream's narrative. Hold on, I gotta take off the seatbelt. That freaking belt is killing me. It's a leather belt, and for some reason, after wearing it all day and sweating in it and all that, it's getting pretty uncomfortable. So I take off the belt. But, yeah, like the PBs that were out there today, the PBs that were out in, where was it, Gresham, I think, on Sunday or Tuesday, and the PBs that were in Portland, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll say they made me proud. The way they acted, it was, and I wish they would talk about it, you know what I mean? And I know it'd be risky for me to put them on my platform, and to do that, maybe I just have to record a show, but I want to have them on the platform, and I want to, like, today, they were giving out water here. They were offering water to everybody. And they're labeled as awful white supremacists. But they were literally just giving water to everyone. I watched when officers arrived to get ready for the group when they started walking. And the Proud Boys actually walked up to the officers and were like, would you like water? They're like, oh, no, thanks. And they had conversations. But for some reason, they're all villainized in the press as awful white supremacists. And I was talking to one, someone high up today, and I was like, listen, why don't you guys come on the show, express that. I think that's, what the fuck was that? It sounded like a damn gunshot. What that was. Weird. Yeah, but it's scared me a little bit because I heard that and then I saw this dude flying up on my ass and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I don't know. I think people are getting a bad rap, and I think that events like this should be highlighted because, I mean, it changes the narrative. It changes the perspective. And now, I mean, it corrects the narrative. Okay, let's drive 60 miles an hour in the fast lane, you shitbird. Idiot. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because there's fucking traffic. What did I tell you? I told you there'd be traffic. There's an accident here, and then it clears up, and then I can see maybe a mile and a half up the road. See, now I look like an a-hole because I just drove around that guy very quick, and now I'm stopping dead in the road. I'm such an a-hole. But yeah, there's a traffic up there. And what I always do too, if you guys can't hear, I've got my four-ways on right now. Because I keep my four-ways on until I see most of the cars behind me do it. And then I shut them off. Just like I just did. Because it basically allows the trucks that are flying by to see that there's some shit going on in front of you. And typically they all will slow down. And really what that Los Alanos guy, he should be blocking that lane to allow everyone to merge left. Because apparently... I don't have the CB radio in this truck, but apparently there's probably something in the right lane, which is why all the trucks were moving over up on the hill as we came down the hill. But actually, this is going to clear up quick because the accident's right here, and then there's another accident up ahead that's quite a bit longer, I think, because it's looking awfully red. This one's done. It's done. Yeah. Fun stuff. Let's listen to some news. I don't think I'll get copywritten for playing Fox News. Let's listen to that.
Why we should think very carefully before we go into it. But you put your finger on it. I mean, we've lost thousands of American sons and daughters. So when you look into the eyes of the parents, I mean, is our response we fulfilled our mission, or we just misjudged it, and we never should have been there in the first place? I mean, that's what I get that people want to leave. I do get that. The question is, what are you leaving behind? And it seems like the Taliban is just as strong as it ever was.
Well, remember that also this is what
I've
President
never had a
Biden
cold
said today.
corn dog before.
Well, first of all, you haven't seen the president.
Don't ever do
the
it.
Communications team at the White House has said it'll be a few days before that happens. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this crisis is unfolding right now, and you're going to cede all of that ground to let everybody else do the communicating. Okay, that's an interesting choice. When it comes to the president, though, he blamed President Trump yesterday. And you could say, reasonable people could agree that the decision to talk with the Taliban and make this deal with the Taliban was a bad decision. But you didn't have to implement the bad decision if that's what you thought it was. But instead you said, well, my hands are tied, there's nothing I could do. Let's hollow out the military in the meantime, and let's leave Afghanistan.
Yep, so I was talking about this. This one's going to last a little bit longer. But maybe I won't hit too crazy delays. Protests in D.C. of Afghanistan. Is there a protest in D.C. right now? I mean, what are they protesting? Like, what would you protest? And I mean, how? I would never protest Afghanistan, what we're doing now. You could argue that Joe Biden's an idiot, but I mean, it's not really arguing because we already know he's an idiot. But I mean, what are you going to protest? You want people to stay there? You want American troops to needlessly stay there? I mean, is it our responsibility? Here's the argument that a lot of people say is that it's almost our some people feel like it's our responsibility to stay there until they get fully stabilized. But then again, who benefits from that? Like, who benefits from us being in Afghanistan? It's certainly not the American people. You know what I mean? So I don't know. My personal opinion is we should have left a while ago. You know what I mean? But I also think about, like, when Kandahar was taken a couple of days ago, I'm like, do you know how that must make people feel that have been over there, that went over there as soldiers and lost their people, lost their brothers and sisters in combat? I don't know, man. It's not a checkpoint. I can see it's an accident up ahead. Because I have, in my truck, it's all fancy. Can't show you, but it's all fancy, so it shows me that it's an accident. The War Machine benefits banking systems, yeah. I mean, here's... what do you think's going to happen with our country? It's a scary concept, but what do you really think's going to happen with our country in the next, like, year? Like, if you had to do, like, a 6-month, year, 18 months, 2 years, like, the progression of what's going to happen in the country and where we're going to be in a country... That's what I'm, that's what I'm really curious about. Lisa said you have a lifelong friend going back. No, hopefully your friend is taken care of. But they've already deployed. You should have said gone back, because they wouldn't be going back. Because they don't have deployments going over to Afghanistan, unless it's the 5,000 troops that they just... ordered out, the active duty ones, because I don't even believe National Guard has been called up, because again, they're not calling it a combat mission. But someone said it's not going to get better, we're heading into end times. I don't know, end times. I mean, I think I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it, because the only thing I can think is, like, and I say it all the time, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. If we don't wake up, we're going to lose our country. And do I think we're going to, like, lose it? No, I think it's just going to be so unbearable here that people are going to do drastic things. On both sides. And that's not anything I want for this country. I'll be honest. And that's not anything anybody else should want either. Like, all the people that tout that kind of stuff and the whole Civil War idea, it's not a good thing. I don't know why people argue that it is a good thing. It's not. It's just, it further destroys everything that we've worked for, everything that we've built, everything that, all the tax money I've put in, all the hard work I've put in my life. It's just gone, essentially, with that kind of action. I don't want to see that kind of shit happen. I really don't. I would much, much, much rather, But then again, I can't see, the only thing I can imagine right now is that people wake the fuck up. Excuse my language. That's the only thing I can envision that's going to change the path that we're currently on. Where someday someone wakes up, someone on the left wakes up and says, oh, dude, we're being stupid. Now, you can see right there up ahead, you see the RV is moving in. The green little Subaru right there, Subaru. It was trying to not allow that RV in, so the RV just said, screw you, and he went in anyway. Because that's what he should do. And he did do it. So this was a car accident. I don't even see any damage to the car. What in the hell? Of course. Someone said they're trying to pass a bill. That's in the infrastructure bill. There's a lot of weird shit in the infrastructure bill. Someone said they're trying to pass a bill that's going to charge that'll charge a mileage tax. That's already in the infrastructure bill. Granted, the House is probably going to shred it up a little bit, but if the House votes out on that infrastructure bill as is, we're fucked. As a country, we're fucked. And that, because there's just a couple of things that are in there. All vehicles within the next 3 years will have to have pass passive aggressive, or I forgot what it is. It's systems basically to determine that you are not intoxicated. So they'll be monitoring every single person in America's car, and then they'll also have the capability. This is what's very scary. They'll have the capability of shutting your car off. So if they suspect that you're drunk, and if they have that capability, if that's built into cars, you're telling me that the police wouldn't use that? Like if you're wanted or something, or the police are searching for you, all that information is going to be kept there. Like, and that's in the infrastructure bill. Within 3 years, they'll need to have, some sort of breathalyzer or something. The way I read it is they're going to have sensors in there that are going to be able to determine your level of fatigue, and then it's going to prompt you to blow into a tube to determine whether you're sober enough to drive your own car. Like, and that's in the infrastructure bill. There's a bunch of other crazy shit that's in that bill. You know, the mileage tax for trucking goes up as well. You know, but the one good thing is that the liability insurance amount didn't get it included. So at least small trucking may be able to survive a little bit. Atomic Hunger said, typical paranoid American. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're not from America, but you can call me paranoid, but it's because I know how to read, you dipshit. Go read the infrastructure bill. It's on like page, what was it? It's 1900, right around there. Go read the infrastructure bill. You'll see exactly what I said. I actually did a whole episode on it and showed the actual bill. Say paranoid American. Why? How are you paranoid if you actually say the truth? It's not paranoid. That's me saying, that's news. That's me saying, hey, look at what they're doing. It's not even fake. It's not hyperbole or anything like that. It's literally what they're doing. So before you who's apparently not an American, before you comment like that, maybe you should do a little bit of research. For one, we try to be as honest as we can, even if it is bad to either side, because Nancy Pelosi said we have to pass it to find out what's in it. I know, that's what they did with the last one. But you know what's funny too is after they passed the infrastructure bill, Senate immediately pushed that $3 trillion budget whatever bill. And I don't know, did they vote on that? I don't remember. But if they voted on that too, I mean, if they're saying the infrastructure bill was going to raise $259 billion in deficit in the next 10 years, it was going to add $259 billion to our deficit in the next 10 years. Can you imagine what's going to happen if you add a $3 trillion bill of frivolous spending on top of that as well? Phew. But you know what? It's okay, because they're going to tax the shit out of us. They're going to keep taxing it. Someone else said they won't read. They just want to be spoon-fed whatever CNN says. And it's true. I mean, I was listening to CNN earlier. And again, like they were talking about Afghanistan, and they were just blaming it on Donald Trump consistently. They were just saying it's all Donald Trump's fault. And even one of the CNN, people literally had to be like, listen, you could be mad at Donald Trump all you want, but you have to... it ends, what's that saying? Like the ball ends where it stops rolling or something like that. I don't know. But because Joe Biden is president right now, the buck stops with him. That's it. It's nothing to do with the ball. But the buck stops with Joe Biden. He's the president. That's what he always said, right? He wanted that. So when he continued this drawback, and the Taliban saw that we now had a weak president, they threw out all the conditions out the window, because the condition of the Taliban with the deal that Donald Trump made with the Taliban was that they wouldn't take over any provisional capitals. That's why this week they took over, there's 36 of them, and I think they took over 33 of them so far. Or something like that. Or there's 18 of them and they took over 15. I don't remember. But they've taken over all but 3 of these provisional capitals, which is crazy, because that would have stayed the American troops leaving if Donald Trump was still president, because that was a breach of their agreement. But to be honest, I think Donald Trump would have been like, wait, why did you meet with China? Because the Taliban met with China a couple of weeks ago. They actually the Taliban leadership went to China and had a meeting with Chinese government officials. And then all of a sudden they do a big campaign and they take over Afghanistan. Guaranteed Chinese, workers are going to be in there trying to, dig for precious metal and all that stuff. But hey, you know what? It's America. This is Biden's America. This is what all the lefties voted for. They voted for it. And it's okay. I mean, we'll make it. We're the strongest country in the world, but I don't think. And we may not be the strongest country in the world in terms of how the world perceives us. Oh, but don't get it wrong. We are the strongest country in the world. Because eventually, and I've said it all the time, eventually, people need to wake up before the wrong group, before we really wake up. Like, people have to wake up and start getting out and talking about things and being, and people are starting to do it. Schools, school board meetings, people are starting to call out the bullshit. The mask, like this protest today, like, these are awesome. To see this many people in an apolitical, rally, this wasn't about Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Republican or Democrat. This is about right and wrong. And campaigning for the freedom to make your own mind up. That's what this rally was today. It wasn't about Joe Biden. It wasn't about Republicans or Democrats or Black Lives Matter or any of the other shit that we've seen. This was purely about the right to make your own determination on what to do in your life, with your life. And it was a great thing, and I think it should happen more. I think it should happen every day. I think people should do this in cities across the United States every single day. And they should. Because, you guys saw it today, and granted, I was not really zooming around the crowd too much, but when we were listening to the speeches, there were maybe 300 people there. But this is the power of these movements and these protests and rallies. There were like 300 people there listening to the speech. By the time they got to the end when they got to the hospital, at the end, there must have been 750, maybe 1,000. That's probably a stretch, but still. At least 750 people there across, all over the place. And that was 750 people that marched. That means other people just walked by. I personally, myself, saw people come out of the bar that was on the left there, almost towards the hospital, and start marching with everybody. And that's what it takes. People just need to wake up. Because there's a huge fraction of Americans that are very skilled, and that are very skillful, because they were trained by the U.S., that are not going to just sit down. They're the ones that are being quiet. They're the ones that are sitting around right now by a fire in their property. They're drinking beer. They're probably laughing back and forth to each other about this story or that story. Someone's going to bring up, like, oh, what about these mandates? And they're going to be like, yeah, I won't deal with that. And then they'll move on to the next thing. They don't care right now. But should that and most of you guys know what I'm talking about. If that group of people decides that they now care, and it's not something they can just dismiss, we're fucked. And not we. Our country is going to be in dire straits for the better. I'm just hoping that my segment of Wake Up America involves us waking up before that happens. Even though I'll be right there with them, they stand for the same thing I do. But I just don't want that. You guys know what I'm talking about, I believe. And I don't want that, I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want, violence or anything like that. But if we don't stop going that way, it's going to happen. April on Twitch, or any mods, just get rid of this Atomic Hunger idiot. He's just pissing off everybody else. They don't want him in there anymore. That's on Twitch. But you guys know what I mean, because people are eventually. There's a group. I know a shit ton of them. That sit up in New Hampshire, and they're buddies of mine. They're like people you never, and they just sit around. They're not militia guys. They're just good old boys that sit around on the weekends, ride dirt bikes, drinking, going to clubs, working, whatever the case is. But they sit around with their friends, and they kind of like, yeah, you hear that stupid shit Biden did today? Yeah, they say we're all going to have to lock down again. well, yeah, I'm not going to lock down again. I know you're not. And then they just move on to the next topic. You know, and in that group of people, in that group of people, it's not just rednecks. It's that people have that conversation in every demographic. Every racial group in America has those people. When those people decide that this is too much for them, oh my goodness, this country. You think that Donald Trump was bad? Imagine when that group of people is just like, you know what? Enough is enough. We've been waiting. And to be honest, that's my fear, is that we're going to get to that point. I want to stop it. I want to stop it before we get there. I want people to wake up and say, like, wake up. Like, pay attention to what's going on. Because, and I'll be honest, maybe it's a little hippie of me or something, but I think that I think we can change things by just, I mean, it's already having an effect. I heard today in Charlotte that some of the hospitals are actually considering removing their mandate. And simply because the employees, some of them, are saying, well, we're going to stick to our guns. Some of these healthcare workers that don't want it are sticking to their guns and submitting resignations. And some of the hospitals now are being forced to be like, shit, like, what do? We don't have enough staff to do this. And it's just like the firefighter video that I showed on Friday on my episode of Wake Up America. Remember that video? 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the Honolulu firefighter crying about, he's like, we do this because we love it. And if we're not here on the 16th, you can blame the mandate that was issued by the Honolulu mayor. That was a really truncated version of it, but, that's what he said. He said, if we're not here on the 16th, you can thank them. We do this job because we love it, not because we need it or the money or anything like that. And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen to a lot of people. And maybe some employers, but here's the thing, a lot of people just bend over. You know how many emails I get all the time where people are like, oh, I had to get the vaccine for work. My wife got the vaccine for work. She didn't get the vaccine because she wants the vaccine. She got the vaccine because she was told by her employer that if she didn't get the vaccine, and she did get sick, she would have to burn her sick days. Whereas if she has the vaccine and gets sick, she doesn't have to use her sick days. So from a cost-effective point, it made sense for her to do it. I was still not for it. But again, I don't control her. She's not my property. We're just married. She gets to make her own mind up. She made up her own mind. She got it. She did. I mean, she's starting to realize there's consequences to her actions. Because she's getting her second shot, I think, this Friday or something like that. And she's like, yeah, you may have to do something with the kids on Saturday if I'm feeling super sick, because a lot of people get sick. And I said, I don't give a shit if you're feeling sick. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to go find a protest or something to go to. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I told you not to get vaccinated. That was your choice. So you deal with the consequences. I'm not watching the damn kids if you got vaccinated and you get sick from that thing that you opted to do, even though your husband, said don't do it. Like, no. I said, I've got people that count on me to go out and show these protests every day. But again, you have to make up your own mind, In all reality, I'll watch the kids. I was fucking around, but I did say it to her, but I'll watch the kids. She's still my wife. I'll be there watching her. You think I want her to be alone after getting a jab of some shit that's fucking causing all the stuff it's doing? No, hell no. Someone said it was her job, Steve. It wasn't her job. She didn't have to get vaccinated. She didn't have to get vaccinated. She would have just lost she would have had to burn sick days if she got COVID. But here's the thing, we already got the antibodies. Because I firmly believe that we both had COVID, or all four of us, had COVID, early last year. And then I firmly believe, even though I took a test that said I didn't have COVID, whenever it was, 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever, I firmly believe that I did. I had all the symptoms, except I didn't lose my taste. You make up your own mind, man. Someone said, we know you'll be watching them. Well, of course. I'm not going to leave her alone. You know what's happening to people the day after they get the vaccine? I can't tell you because it's on social media. But just go over to the NIMS or whatever it is. The VIMS. What is it? National Database of Vaccine whatever. Go look at that. Yeah, you think I'm going to let my wife be alone the day after? Hell no. Her job did not force her hand either. That's the thing. Someone said her job forced her hand. No, it didn't. Her job gave her the option. She made the determination based on that option. You know what I mean? Here's the real question. How come not a single vaccine manufacturer in the United States has mandated the jab for their employees? The closest one to it was Pfizer, who said you either need to get the vaccine or you need to be tested twice a week. And that was this Wednesday. That's important to remember. That was this Wednesday. So how come not a single vaccine manufacturer has mandated the same vaccine? I mean, here's the thing that's crazy. Pfizer is available overseas as well, right? So why did Pfizer make it optional for everybody? That mandate to either get vaccinated or tested twice a week was only for U.S.-based employees. Like if you're a Pfizer employee in Israel, you don't need to do it. If you're a Pfizer employee in Saudi Arabia, you don't need to do it. Or China or Germany or anywhere else, you don't need to do it. There's no mandates in place. Isn't that weird? I talked to a contact that I have that works at another vaccine manufacturer that's not here in the U.S. They're in Europe and things like that. And I asked them if their company has mandated the vaccine, and they laughed. They literally wrote back to me in text message, LOL. They're not going to do that. And I'm like, this is insane. But yet, the government is mandating, all troops. I guess the Navy just issued an announcement on Friday saying that by September 15th, well, we already knew that Lloyd Austin put out the thing earlier last week. We wrote about it. But I guess the Navy has now confirmed it. That every active duty soldier and officer is going to have to be vaccinated by September 15th. But I mean, again, it's crazy. It's got an emergency authorization. It doesn't have FDA approval. And then you have all the new studies that just came out today and yesterday, like on Maria Bartiromo or whatever you say her name. She had an interesting conversation today with the president of Moderna, who's talking about all these different studies, and they said something that's inaccurate, because I haven't actually seen any data. Maybe there is data, but he said that that they tested the blood of people that took Pfizer, Moderna, and that had previous bouts, so that antibodies, and they noticed that the people with antibodies have a lower they have a lower count of something, which means that Pfizer and Moderna shot provide more protection from COVID. But again, from catching COVID in the first place, because we always hear that if you have antibodies, that your chances of catching it are not. Everyone forgets the fact that the goal of these vaccines has morphed. It's no longer well, you know what? I don't even want to talk about the fucking vaccines. Let's not even talk about it. Who cares? Do what you gotta do. Get vaccinated if you want to get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, stand up for your right to not get vaccinated. That's what people have to do. And then if you are one of the people that want to get vaccinated and you're proud of the choice you made, stand up for the people that don't want it. Because again, we got to remember we're Americans. You're not, just because you get the jab in the arm, even though it's a little weird, and you may stick to a door or something like that later in life, even though it's weird, you're still an American. You just may be a robot in like 5 years, but it's okay. But people need to remember that, and I think a lot of people, this divisive, that's a misconception. I talked to someone today. That was a misconception, is that they thought all these people that were protesting were anti-vaxxers, and I'm like, oh no, they're not. Probably a lot of them have already been vaccinated, but that's the difference. Those people that have been vaccinated are still standing up for the rights of the people that haven't, that want to make that right, that choice themselves. And that's what everyone should be doing. To me, you're not an American. If you're not standing up for the rights of others, you're not an American. And I'm not talking about just being on social media and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm talking about being out there, and advocating for those people. That's a harsh statement. Now, you're still an American. You're just only thinking about yourself at that point. Lady K said it's not a vaccine, it's a death jab. Yeah, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, that's your prerogative. know. There was an interesting flyer. I'm going to show it on the air tomorrow if it made it. I think it's in my pocket, but it may have got wet. Yeah, and Lady K, can you not say that on Twitch? You're trying to get us banned, I think. Someone said, Steve, are you still putting on weight? No, I'm actually not. And I'm going to, tomorrow actually, going to be starting a new diet. Lots of meat, lots of chicken, lots of shakes. I'm going to try to maintain my strength while cutting back down. I forgot to use my blinker there, but that's okay. While cutting down to, I think, 275, because right now I'm at 307. So I want to get down to 275, so there's going to be a little bit more cardio in my workouts. There's going to be a lot more reps. Still high weight, but I'm going to go higher reps now and a lot more accessorial exercises and stuff like that. But my guess is that it will take me 2 months and I'll be down to 275, and then I'll think about where I want to go. If I want to stay at 275. Because the national deadlift record here's the thing. The national deadlift record for 304, so you got to be above 275, but under 304 is 633 pounds, I think I saw, for drug tested. And I'm thinking about finding a drug tested contest, losing a couple of pounds, go enter that contest just so I can take the national record and then cut down to the weight. I haven't decided yet. Probably not. I mean, I haven't competed in a while. I haven't competed, since 2019? So, I don't know. I still lift heavy, though. My gym kind of sucks. I'm not a huge fan of the gym. So I can't use, can't do a lot of stuff I want to do. Someone said, well, you started your cardio today. I know, walking sucked. I'm really like pissed because when the dude was singing, if anyone watched that video today, when the dude was singing, I was like, I should go right now and swap out my camera. It's a perfect time to do it. But then I'm like, viewers are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, oh, you're not religious. You cut away a second of religious song starts, blah, 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 blah. So I stayed there, and then they immediately started marching. And we walked by my truck. Like, you could see my truck in the picture, or in the video. But I wanted to switch. It's not a genocide either, Lady K, so stop saying stupid shit. Please. I'm not trying to be mean, but you're saying all sorts of fake shit. We don't fearmonger. Just stop talking. If you don't like the vaccine, don't say anything. Just say, oh, I'm not taking the vaccine, it sucks. You don't need to say genocide or death jab or any stupid shit like that. Sorry. And I'm not trying to call you out. I'm tired. I've been driving 6 o'clock this morning, Mayor. Don't piss me off. Again, it's everyone's choice. Because here's the truth. When you say that kind of thing, whoa, what the fuck? Oh, I thought, what is that? The Black Dog on, what's that movie with Patrick Swayze? I don't remember what it is. It's called Black Dog or something, where truckers drive at night and they see like a black dog in front of them when they get super tired. Lady K, you're good. I'm sorry for yelling. I didn't mean to. The problem is everyone's worked up. And the thing is, the goal with my chat, and we don't do a good job with it, and I think we need more people to like self-police themselves or just use common sense. It's the problem with my chat, and I get it a lot, we just don't have, we have too many people that are opinionated in the chat. And you're doing what I want you to do, which is express yourself. But the problem is that a lot of people, when they do it, they're ostracizing people with opposing views that do watch my show. And that's what I don't like. And that's why I always get pissed off at the chat. Because there's people that watch the show that don't comment. And that there's people, like, we have members. We have 4,000 members on Citizen Stringer. Of those 4,000 people, maybe 400 or 500 of them chat. And the reason is because sometimes the chats are abrasive. Sometimes people aren't welcoming. And it goes both ways. I mean, we had someone the other day that was like, Steve's data's wrong. And Sean, you're good. I know what you're getting at now. But he's like, Steve's data's wrong. He's misinterpreting data and blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that I wasn't, you were. You know what I mean? And I said that, and I'm like, that's the thing, is you can't go out and fact check somebody without the facts. And I think a lot of the time in our chat, it's divisive. And using words like genocide and death jab to I mean, you're obviously ostracizing the people that do make the decision to get it. You can just simply say, I don't want to get it because I don't trust it. You know what I mean? That's an easier and a way to be respectful. And it's not about censoring or, you know, it's about just being respectful, you know? And trust me, I got to do it too. Because I know a lot of times it's hypocritical for me to say some things I say and then, you know, to make a statement like I just did. I know, and I'm working on it. But the goal of what we are doing here isn't just to be like the best right-leaning news organization in the world. No, it's not. My goal is to be the most honest news and podcast show in the world. I don't care about being right or left. I want to be honest. And I want people on the left or the right to be able to watch this show and be like, okay, there is one guy, I disagree with him fundamentally, but there is one guy that's going to tell it to me like it is. And that's my goal for this. And that's why I get so emotional. And sometimes I yell at the chat, and trust me, I figured out how to stop doing that. You know, right now I'm driving, so I'm not really paying attention to the chat. But when obviously there's only a couple hundred of you now, and you guys know when I'm really doing a show, there's 1,500, 2,000 people that are watching the show just on social media alone, and then you add all the thousands that are watching on the apps. It's a lot of people, and then I get overwhelmed by the chat, and it's almost like my eyes just go to that one negative comment. So what I'm doing now is I'm not reading the chat. As simple as that. Maybe I'll read the chat after, or when I do the hour on social media and then the hour on PTNN, which I'm only going to do a couple of nights a week. And you'll know because I'll start earlier. But on those nights, then I'll read the chat, interact with the chat later on. But I want to be able to present a show. I want to be able to talk about what's going on and not get all worked up and not act like a fucking baby when someone says something I don't like. And that's something I've learned about myself. So, God, that's a really hippie statement. That's something I've learned about myself. But it's true, because I don't want to alienate anybody. If you're unless you're Antifa, and then you could go fuck yourself. But if you're someone that's left-leaning and you think left on the spectrum, but you're still willing to listen, I want you to feel okay enough to be here and listen, and maybe ask a question once in a while. I don't want you to write something and be like, Steve, I disagree with you, and then me just being who I am, be like, well, I don't give a shit if you disagree. Go watch CNN. Go fuck F yourself. Because I do that. So, anyway, it is what it is. You know. But it's a work in progress. But I tell you what, I'm stoked as shit that this live feed has stayed live the whole time. I am. I'm stoked as shit. Because this has stayed live. Has it stayed live the whole time, or has it switched back to the other like hold screen, which is pretty badass too? Have you guys seen that? Has it stayed live the whole time? Or has it gone back and forth? Tell me in the chat. Just type live for it stayed live, and no, it switched once or twice. Someone asked, did I take my son today? No, I didn't take my son today. After what happened yesterday in Los Angeles with a Patriot being stabbed in Los Angeles at a mass rally, I made the decision that my son is too young to be exposed to that should something like that happen here. So I made the decision not to bring him, and he was pretty bummed because he looks up to me. He likes what I'm doing. Fucking idiot. Okay, pass on the left, you shitbird. Or on the right, rather. Now you slow down, dumbass. Look at this stupid shit. And then your little frickin' foreign car, Toyota. Anyway. Someone said 2 times a drop for a couple of seconds. Alright, well, I mean, it's better than anything else. And I licensed that song that plays, the girl singing, which I think it's Finally Free America or something. I forgot what the name of that song is, but I licensed that song too. So, because like I said, I wanted to do this. I want to drive around, and so far, I mean, it's working. So I'm digging it. So then we'll go through West Virginia sometime in the future. Usually I do back roads. Normally it wouldn't be interstate, and it would just be all back roads, but I'll be honest, I'm trying to get home. It was a long day. A lot of walking. I didn't get to use a scooter like I wanted to. You know? I should have used a scooter, but I didn't. 99% sat. I don't know what that means, so that was good. Pass on the left, you shitbird. Yeah, it should be. Pass on the left, you shitbird. I know, with like a kid's cartoon drawing of what side to pass on. Yeah. What's up to a-holes cruising in the left lane? They always do. It's Virginia, bro. They don't know how to drive. Wait till it snows up here. They don't know how to drive. Someone said Yeet Hammer. You're gonna have to take Yeet Hammer for road rage. Dude, I have road rage. I'll be honest. That's another one of my downfalls. I get pissed off. I no longer jump out of my car and try to attack people. I used to, you know. I think I told this story. Like, the best one ever is I was driving. My wife used to have a minivan when I worked in logistics. I had a truck, but for some reason I was driving her minivan. And there was a car that was in front of me. He just kept brake checking me. I know what it was. He tried to pass me on a double yellow while we're going up a hill. And I didn't slow down. I just said, fuck you, bruh. And so he couldn't pass me. And he finally gassed it, got in front of me, and then started brake checking me. And he brake checked me for about 20 miles. And just continuously brake checking me, going down to 0 miles an hour. I'd open the door, he'd go again. And then finally, I guess, I don't know what, he couldn't see that I was a dude. I think he thought I was a chick driving a minivan. And I know exactly where this was, too. This was up by Vernon, or no, was it Hewitt, New Jersey? No, Vernon. It was Vernon, New Jersey. It was on the back road off of, like, Route 23 there. And this guy thought it would be a good idea. And by this time, I had a ton of cars behind me. Because, like I said, he was brake checking. So they all saw what was going on. Several of them already called police. They saw that he was continuously brake checking, almost like he was trying to get me to hit him or something. Him and his passenger were kept flipping the bird. But finally, I don't know what happened. He just thought he was going to be a big tough guy, and he literally blocked both lanes of the road with his car. And I was out of that car. I was out of my car before it even stopped rolling. And at that time, I was probably 250 pounds, but all 250 pounds of me hit his driver's side door with him standing in between the door and his car. And I had him by the throat, got ready to sock him, and then a guy on a Harley was like, "No! We saw it all! Don't do it!" I was like, "Oh, crap," because I kind of like woke up, and I was like, "Oh, I must have blacked out from just anger." And I got back in my my wife's minivan, and I drove home, and I told her that I was going to get arrested. And it was a matter of time before police showed up, and they never did. And I'll be honest, every time I drove by that driveway that he pulled into after, because he was still blocking the road after, because he was like, I knocked him good. But as soon as that happened, he pulled into a driveway, and I swear for the next 4 years, and it probably still happen now, I swear every single time I drive by the house that he pulled into, I instantly feel anger again. But that was the best one. But that was years ago. You know, I don't do it. I've gotten out of the car a couple of times. It's usually people that don't understand how big I am. So they'll like flick me off or something like that, or brake check, and then they'll be like, "Get out of your car." And then I get out of the car and they're like, "No, we're good." I'm like, "Okay, dude, don't waste my time." But it is what it is. Someone said watch before it's deleted. But what's deleted? You think my earlier video would be deleted? I thought about deleting that video, but I don't think they really said anything bad. You know? Or I thought about just clipping out the speeches and just showing the march. But I don't think they said anything bad that could be construed as anything to get me banned. Hopefully you're not talking about me, but pretty soon I'm going to end this live feed anyway, because it is getting dark. And I should call my wife before she falls asleep. Because tomorrow is, I believe, her first day of school. She was back all last week, but I think tomorrow is her first day with students. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really listen that much. Someone said, yeah, I didn't know if Steve's going through Virginia. Yeah, I am. I'm going through Virginia right now. 81. Twitch said, someone said, showing only 6 watching. I don't know. So I have 2 YouTube channels that live streams to. It streams to Citizen Stringer app, which is the main, which is the backup Facebook page. It also streams to Citizen Stringer News, which is a rebrand of your favorite freight broker. That's the big Facebook page. It also streams to 2 different YouTube pages for now, but it's not going to for much longer. It's just going to stream to the Wake Up America one, and then the 24-hour feed will stream to the other one. And then it streams to Twitch, DLive, Citizen Stringer mobile apps, and PTNN, all of our TV apps. So we're all over the place. Right now, I think on social media, it's sitting right around 400, plus we probably have a couple of, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people watching on our apps. It's always a lot. But I can't see the chats there. Someone said they were talking about it raining. Don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I just figured I'd make a video. I told my wife I was going to do it. Kind of wanted to see how this works with it tracking while we're driving. Dude, I'm so stoked about this. This is a game changer. Because now the live feeds are on point. So I'll be able to do these live streams more, which is great. And the setup is quick. It's literally, I plug it into my truck, then I plug in the camera, because the camera's going to stay in here and stay charged, hopefully. And then I just plug it into my camera and press a button on the box, and boom, I'm live to social media. It's so much quicker than everything else. I may move the camera up to the other side so it's not set dead center. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching. I can't see if there are any super chats or stars or Twitch bitch, whatever. So if you guys did do that, I appreciate everyone. And yeah, man. Someone said it works excellent. SAT, LOL. What is SAT? I don't know. It's the second time someone said that. It's not satellite, if that's what you're insinuating. What it is, it's called the LiveView LU600, I think, something like that. Basically, what it is it's got a big box that has 8 separate cellular connections in it. So it's got 8 separate SIM cards for all different carriers, and what it does is it takes all those internet, the unlimited data from all those cellular providers, it bonds them as one super strong internet feed, and then it takes the video image and it pixelates it, sends it in H.264 up to the cloud, which then we take from the cloud and we distribute out to our social medias and everything. So it's very convoluted, but it's awesome because, so if I go into an area that has like great AT&T and Verizon, but shitty T-Mobile and something else, it'll switch over to the better of the, well, it actually just uses all of them all the time. So we never lose it. It's the same, like if you see Fox News out and they have that backpack on, yeah, that's what I have. I have the same technology that all the big guys got. So, Robert said it's a military term. Well, thank you for your service. I didn't know what you were talking about. But cool. But yeah. Someone said, I have 3.9K and don't know what to do with them. I don't know what that means. Someone said, holy crap, 8 modems. I know, and that's why, like today, I was thinking about making my camera wireless, but I didn't want to have like another thing that is sending a signal because I have this box on my back that has all these radios in it. And I was like, I don't want to add another radio just so I could have a wireless camera, so I did. And I used the cable, but you guys couldn't even tell. So it worked pretty good. It was cool. It was cool. Lady K1 on Twitch is now following. Thank you. Someone said it's either sat or unsat. Is that satisfactory? Is that what that means? Sad or unsat? Is that satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Because this show was fucking satisfactory, okay? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And for anyone who's just tuning in for the first time, I'm wired because I've been driving and drinking Mountain Dew and shit since 6 o'clock this morning. But check out my show tomorrow. I'll be live around either 7 or 8 o'clock on whatever channel you're watching right now. Check it out tomorrow. We're going to have some new stuff coming on tomorrow. The show's going to be a little bit more produced. And it's only going to get better. Oh, and wait till you hear Adam's show tomorrow. I think he's going to be in the new studio doing his first episode there. Ho, 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 ho! We got some new... Oh, man, sick. But we're doing big things. We're we're breaking the way news is reported. Anyway, I don't know how to end this feed, so I'm going to try to figure it out to end it like this, I think. And I appreciate all you guys for watching. I really do appreciate everyone who contributed. If something breaks, in terms